Knights of the Roundtable podcast, episode 11 is here, and we hope you're having a great week. Appreciate you spending some time with us. And remember, you can find the links and clips to all our episodes across our social media platforms. Search at BU Knights. It's a special episode today. We are chatting with our first coach on the podcast, and it's also an introduction to a new sport in Bellarmine athletics. The head coach of the brand new Bellarmine Sprint football program, Harold Davis, joins us today. Harold, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great day outside, like 55 degrees, something like that. So it kind of gets me in the mood for a little bit of football weather.
Right.
So did you watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, I assume?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a good game. It kind of was like the other playoff games a little bit. I wanted the Bengals to win, but kind of happy for Stafford.
So you're from Louisville. Are you a Bengals fan growing up?
No, I was a Cowboys fan.
Cowboys. Okay. That was the golden era of the Cowboys, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I assume that was the game on TV most of the weeks and kind of gravitated towards it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Troy Aikman's your guy?
Roger Staubach.
Okay.
I'm a lot older than you think, maybe.
You don't look like it. You look great. Staubach, Aikman. Was it a heartbreaker for you this year with the Cowboys and the Niners in that first-round loss?
No, I'm not. I'm nothing like I was when I was younger. I don't get into it like I did. Actually, coaching football has kind of interrupted my passion for the NFL, but I still watch when I can.
Right. I feel like, you're around football all day, so when you get home, maybe take your mind off it a little bit.
Well,
right?
It's more so of you're working on Sundays a lot of times where we were, and we met on Sundays, go out to some of the ball games and get your scouting report and get all those things done.
So when you're watching an NFL game or a college football game, when you have the time, are you taking mental notes ever?
Occasionally. Most of the time when I'm watching those, I'm just trying to relax and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But occasionally something will catch my eye. I have to rewind it.
What's the last play that you saw in a college football game or an NFL game? How long has it been since you took one of those from a game that you've seen?
My last year coaching, so it would have been 2020. I was watching, I think the Titans, and I saw something on defense that they had done, and so we kind of put it into what we were doing, just a little bit, not exactly what they were doing, but you catch a little bit here or there, and you kind of we can do that. So it was probably 2020. Yeah, I'll catch stuff here and there.
I didn't know how often that actually happens, right?
Right, but if it's something that's not in your scheme, you're not going to do it anyway. But if it fits, sometimes you want to try it and you do it in practice and see if it works. Yeah,
that makes sense. So you've been at Bellarmine for exactly 6 months now. I think it's to the day since you officially started.
15th, yeah.
February 15th today. How's the first part of the job been for you?
Well, it's been different. I didn't get to coach this year. Up until about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was alone as far as the coaching aspect of it. So been kind of difficult, and I've had a lot of help, from the Bellarmine people, Bellarmine athletic staff. So it's just been different, but now I'm a little more comfortable when these other assistant coaches came on board.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it always helps to have some other bodies in the room, run ideas off of, especially football. There's so many coaches. So feel free to get down in the weeds, the details as much as you want here, but what exactly have you been doing the last 6 months?
Well, mainly is just recruiting, mainly reaching out and answering these questionnaires. That's the part that the assistant coaches have helped with. I'm not a big social media guy, but once they come on board, that kind of blew it up a little bit more. And then ordering equipment, uniforms with the assistance, of course, of our AD and Chris Cooper, assistant AD. They've helped quite a bit with all that kind of stuff. So just trying to piece everything together, honestly.
How are the unis looking? They looking good?
I like them. Yes, I do. I'm not a flashy type guy, and I think they fit very well for what you're trying to do. I think Scott Weekend's just like me. I don't like it real flashy and stuff, but I really like them. I think they're going to look good.
It seems like Bellarmine just has a good color base for football uniforms. They look classic out there.
Well, we have your white jerseys, of course, and then your scarlet jersey, and then some, I think they're calling it their gray pants, whatever the
Right.
pewter or whatever it's called. They do look good with helmets and the scarlet face mask go along with that. So,
Man, I'm pumped to see him out there. About 6 months away now. So let's flash back a year. Did you imagine that you would be coaching college sprint football a year ago?
no, I didn't imagine it 7 months ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It kind of came from nowhere. Actually, I was on vacation when I got the phone call, and it just kind of led to more discussion and then me doing some research to see exactly what sprint football, is, because I didn't know what it was either. So, but it took a while for me to actually give them a resume and do all that kind of stuff just because of the timing and where I was, and I knew it wasn't going to be – it was the wrong time to do it, but, I did what I thought was best for me at the time.
So where were you when you got the call?
Where I was I was on vacation in Florida.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been quite a shock when you were down there on the beach, probably.
Well, I left my phone in the room, and when I came back in there, I checked my messages, and that's like didn't know what this meant. So
yeah.
I returned the phone call, and then we had the discussions from there.
So you mentioned you had to look up what sprint football is. For those that don't know, what is sprint football?
Well, and this is another reason why I said yes, I would do it, because it's normal football. It's nothing any different. It just has a weight limit. Knowing going into it, the most difficult part was going to try to get offensive linemen. Most every player, recruit, they're skill kids anyway. There's a few offensive linemen here or there, but that was going to be the most difficult part. But it's just like watching a normal football game with smaller guys.
I want to get into a few of those details later, but let's go back to some more of your background first. You're a local guy, Louisville native. Mm-hmm. When did you realize football was your thing growing up?
Jeez. I started playing when I was in the third grade. I told you I was a Cowboys fan. I loved watching it, so I just fell in love with football from that time on, and I played as long as I could play.
Any other sports for you growing up?
I played baseball and basketball.
Okay, but football was your main focus going into high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved that the most. Yes, I did.
Well, you had a pretty darn good career at DeSales High School, and you didn't go too far away for college playing at Kentucky Wesleyan in Owensboro. You were the team MVP as a defensive back, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What could you do as a football player better than anybody else? What was your specialty?
I don't know if I wasn't a tremendous athlete by no means. I think I studied learning what we were doing on defense, and then I played quarterback up until I was a junior. So just learning that part and really paying attention to film, and I bought into what coaches were telling me and did the stuff that they ask you to do. That's probably – and I was always a believer not to be outworked.
Sounds like the tendencies of a future coach, and here you are. So you end up coaching at your alma mater, DeSales, and winning a couple of state championships. You're also a retired firefighter.
Yes.
What called you to get into firefighting?
Honestly, when I graduated from Wesleyan, I was in a job out of town, and then I just didn't want to be out of town. I wanted to be back home. And I had friends that were on the fire department. Never wanted to be a firefighter growing up and all that, but I had friends that enjoyed it, and it was more, every day was different. A lot of athletes were on the fire department, and I thought I'd go ahead and apply and hopefully get hired, and it became a career for me.
Yeah. If you don't mind sharing, I'm just curious, what's the craziest thing you ever had to do in the fire department?
I will not get into it, but I lost probably my best friend at the time.
Sorry to hear that.
That would have been the worst time and the craziest, yes.
Yeah. I mean, what you guys do, risking your lives every single day, is unbelievable. So first and foremost, thank you for that service here in Louisville. And now you're full-time football coach, Bellarmine Sprint football coach Harold Davis with us. Why'd you want this job?
I was in a situation at DeSales. I think that maybe I'd ran my course. And then I think the idea of starting a program, and it's very similar to when I tried DeSales. I was an assistant at the time, And I just retired from the fire department a couple years in advance of that. But I thought if I didn't put my name in the hat, I'd probably regret it. And my son was getting ready. He was a year or two out from going to DeSales. So this kind of came up, and I'd been at DeSales for 9 years. And I thought if I don't try this, put my name in there and go ahead and apply, that I'd probably regret it later on. So that's kind of one of those, like another challenge maybe.
Yeah.
And something starting something I'd never dreamt I'd be in charge of trying to start a program. So hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, definitely a unique challenge to say the least with a new sport, new program. It's a cool opportunity.
And that too, being that they've never had football here.
Right.
So that's kind of intrigued me quite a bit too. Just wanting to be a part of it.
So what was the reaction from people in your circle when you told them, hey, I'm leaving to go start this sprint football program at Bellarmine?
Well, my circle basically were the assistant coaches, and they knew that I was having talks with Scott Wiegand. So I don't know. Their reaction was, I need to do it.
Yeah.
You're getting this opportunity. You got to take it. We had been successful at DeSales. Yes, I thought we should have won probably at least one or two more state championships, and they all were like, you have to take this opportunity. It's there. Never going to get a chance to do something like this again. And I know it's not NCAA football, but still I'm at the college level, and never dreamt in a million years I would ever be at the college level and have an opportunity to coach. So I went ahead and took the shot at it.
What was your family's reaction?
Oh, they were the same. They were just, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, well, I say my circle, my family obviously, but they were behind me 100%.
So from your previous years as a high school head coach, what's the biggest part of building a program you can take away from that experience and apply here at Bellarmine?
Say that again, please.
So from your previous years as a head coach, the program was obviously already established, but you built it up into a consistently successful program. From that previous experience, what's the most important thing you took away from that you think can help you now?
First, I think I need to surround myself with coaches that I can trust and trust me, that I believe are really good coaches and good people. Then I think, and it's the same thing we did at DeSales when you're trying to get a player to come play at your school, you got to get good people. This is just like very similar to that, because their academics have to be, very high on their list. That needs to be number one. And we have to get kids that are that way, that they're serious about their academics, but also, good football players, good people off the field as well as on the field. And I think this is very similar to myself. I wanted to play as long as I could play, and I think that's what they love the game of football, and they just want to continue to play. So I think that's the biggest part. And we've actually, when we've met, that was some of the things we talked about. What type of player do we want? We don't want to just get some great player that's not going to be serious about his academics, or to, hopefully not get in trouble outside of football, because none of us need any of those problems. So That's kind of what. And if you build that, I think you build it with good people, I think success will follow.
What's the most challenging part of building a program, you think?
Right now is getting the commitments.
Yeah.
We've had several visit the campus, and I'm probably low. I'd say 90%, and it's probably more of 95% want to come to school here. They love this campus. They love what Bellarmine's about. I think they're excited as well as being a part of starting a football program. So that's been very challenging, is get that going. We've gotten, we still have a whole lot that are really interested, and a lot of it is just like anybody else. They're waiting to see their financial aid packages and all that kind of stuff. So it comes down just like anything else, financially, whether they want to do it or not. And we've just got 2 commitments last week, one from Tampa and one from up around Detroit, Michigan. So hopefully we're going to get some more. Hopefully we're getting a few kids from the Louisville area. But this interest is everywhere. I mean, we're getting stuff from all kind of play. West Virginia, Ohio, Tennessee, Arizona. I mean, they're just interested. And I think social media has helped that quite a bit with all the 6 teams in this league, because they're all on that, and I think it's just getting interest from everywhere. And a lot of the time you're recruiting against the other teams in our league.
Right. I was going to ask, and you kind of answered it there with social media. What's the best way to raise awareness right now that Bellarmine has a football program and we're playing sprint football?
The social media part of it, that's why it's been so helpful with 2 of our coaches are really heavy into the social media and know how to do, work all that. And just doing what we're doing right now, trying to get the word out locally in the surrounding areas here. So I think, honestly, I do believe once this gets started, and I think hopefully we'll be successful, I think it'll really catch on after this. I think it's going to be an exciting league that's just starting. I think a lot of people pay attention to it.
So with the game itself, you have to be 178 pounds or lighter. Some instances you can go up to 183. That's supposed to make the game safer. How so?
Well, if you're a small guy like myself, I'm not going to have a lineman coming at me downfield that's 270 pounds and still runs a 4.6 coming at me. It's going to be very similar size, and that the collisions will not be as violent.
So will in some cases the linemen be the same weight as the skill position players?
Sure. There's we have some transfers coming, and one of them he's right at the weight limit, and he is a safety. He is a defensive back type player. He's going to be the same weight as some of the offensive linemen. Yes.
So how do you determine? You clearly look for guys in non-sprint football that are mid 200s, upper 200s, 300 pounds for linemen. With that weight limit being so low and everyone kind of in the same pool, how do you determine who's an offensive lineman?
Well, in some cases, there's going to be someone that's going to have to play that position they've never played before. I think if we get tight ends that are used to blocking and being on the line, defensive ends, defensive tackles, and then we do have some that we are recruiting, and those are the ones we're really trying to get that are offensive linemen now and want to play offensive line in college. And they truly aren't getting the looks just simply because of their size. And there's a kid in Missouri that we're really trying to go after, and he's an offensive lineman. That's what he wants to play. But yeah, there's plenty out there. We just have to find them.
Is there kind of a weight range around that limit that you go up to thinking we could get him to cut 15 pounds, and then I guess what would that range be?
Of what weight, like we're recruiting?
Yeah, like up to 200 pounds,
No,
maybe those guys can cut some weight.
I don't think if you're 17 or 18 years old and you're 200 pounds, you're not going to usually get any smaller.
Yeah.
I think for us, probably the 185, 190 range.
Okay.
And then thinking they can cut the weight. And a lot of these players also are wrestlers, so they're used to cutting weight and stuff like that. So there's several of them that way.
So do you think this all is going to create a higher scoring sport?
I've been asked that and told, well, this ought to be really exciting. It's going to be wide open. There's all these fast guys out there. But like I said, it's still football. It's a normal football that you are used to. So I'm a believer, as well as our coaching staff, you have to establish a run game. Now, there may be breakaways and stuff like that, but I think they're, depending on the talent you have to start with and what you're going to be good at. But you have to establish a run. So I don't know how, you never know how it's going to end up. This is new to all of us, including everyone else in the league. So I just still think it's just like normal football, and we have to establish a run.
Same exact sport. The running back may just be the same weight as the center. You don't know.
That's right.
So if I were a recruit, what do you want me to know about Bellarmine sprint football?
Obviously, you're starting a brand new program. If you're wanting to know as a recruit, we do talk to them about their academics. First of all, we're not recruiting anybody below a certain GPA to start with, and just let them know that academics have to be number one, and that obviously I'm like the rest of our staff, we want to win. we're going to be. It's going to be very similar to what they're used to. It's going to be as intense. It's going to be the same goals probably that they're used to having, as well as we don't want any problems off the field, which is the same we've always been. I don't want any of that stuff. We don't need that. And as coaches, we want them to be ready for whatever they face after they graduate from here. You know, we want them to help them grow up, be there for them if they need us. But, you know, when it comes down to practices and it comes down to games, we're going to be serious about football and wanting to win games.
You mentioned establishing the run game, but in general, offense and defense, whatever it is, what style do you want your team to play with?
I can tell you for sure defensively will be very physical. There will be 11 people running to the football. That's just the way it's going to be. Offensively, we will have, like I said, depending on what our players learn, whatever we can handle, but we could be a spread team or we can be a wing team. We can be empty. We can do all kinds of things with our offense. We have multiple things that we did where we came from. And a lot of it depends on game situation. Most of it depends on what they know and what they learn.
Okay. When does practice start?
It starts in August. Our first game is the 17th of September, and I don't know the exact date. It's kind of the middle of August.
Okay. I am sure you're going to be so anxious to get on the field at that point.
Well, myself for sure. I haven't been there for a year. Didn't get to coach at all. So
right.
Yeah, this has all been kind of different.
Harold, anything else that people should know about the program?
No, and this is me. What I knew of Bellarmine before I got here, I always had the opinion that Bellarmine did everything right. You know, I've been to high school games in the Knights Hall, and you always look at their campus and you see things are done right, and that's the intention. I think that's what most people in the city think, that Bellarmine, you know, they do things right. It's a great school and all that stuff. So we're going to go right along with that. We're going to do things the right way. We're going to try to compete at the highest level we can in our league and hopefully have a lot of success.
You guys are going to fit in seamlessly. Can't wait to watch you out there. It's going to be here before we know it.
Yes, sir.
Harold Davis, the head sprint football coach. Coach, thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
6 months away from Bellarmine officially having a football team. That's sprint football head coach Harold Davis, and that does it for KRT episode 11. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on social media at BUnites to hear from Coach Davis and all of our other guests. Join us again next week. I'm Jack Kaiser, and Swords Up.